Very good afternoon, gentlemen. I don't say a lady here because I always believe in some inclusivity and look for some women because we don't want to be offensive when we don't address them. So that's why I look for them and not them. But anyway, um, I wish I also had worked for you. Maybe I could have also become an author and then be in the limelight today. But anyway, but I can't do it anymore because I'm close to retirement age. So good luck. Yeah. So at least you should feel proud that one of your employees just kind of risen to the stage where he is authored a book, maybe one book and many I don't know, but so we just had a very brief conversation also. So I mean, I kind of come from the IT industry of Hyderabad, and I'm the immediate past president of HYSEA. It's called Hyderabad Software Enterprises Association. I also have many different kind of tags to me. I was also the former Secretary General of Cyberabad Security Council, wherein we just did a lot of initiative towards women empowerment, safety, and security of the entire IT corridor. Um, Having worked in the IT industry, I don't know how Hyderabad has grown in the last decades. Particularly in the last decade, the kind of growth that we have seen is enormous. And today, we are close to $30 billion just exports alone from Hyderabad, right? And we're not counting about other services, but not the domestic services. Our income, only the exports revenue is about close to 29.5 billion or something for the year 22-23. Sorry, 23, 22-23. 23-2024 will be just again another 20% increase. So we are really growing leaps and bounds. And the reason I'm giving that statistics, and we are also close to about 9 lakh employees, direct employees. And believe me, every direct employee has a ratio of about 2.5 to 3 people, working. Every employee has 2.5 to 3 people working in a supporting organization. It could be a cab driver, a security agency, or housekeeping, all that. So which means we're generating close to, right, 9 lakhs plus again, about 27 comes to about 36 lakh employment just in this IT corridor alone. So that's the kind of growth we have seen every year. Year on year was about 20%, 25%, and it's expected to be 25 to 30% now. And one of the reason why I'm just trying to say all this to give you a background is that today there's a huge apprehension about AI. What is it going to do about like my job? Will Hyderabad lose its shine or India lose its shine in terms of the software services that we've been doing a lot, right? India is close to about $250 billion export revenue in IT services, right? So what will happen? You already have seen some impact of AI in the ITES industry, meaning the BPO industry, where it's a very routine, mundane kind of activity, right? That can be replaced with AI. So that kind of apprehension is all there, and I've also kind of predicted that it's going to have some real big impact on AI in the next couple of years. By 2030, the prediction is that the IT industry will lose the current jobs I'm talking about, right, close to 15%, 15 to 20%. When I say it's going to lose, it's going to be replaced. 10 years ago, whatever jobs we've seen, the skill set that we were working with, it is not there anymore. So IT industry keeps going through a very rapid evolution of change of technology, change of skill sets, right? Thus, need for change of skill set. So AI will be an enabler. It will not be kind of, creating a negative impact, but it will be an enabler. We are sure that in terms of the revenue, is going to be really increasing. Our focus from service industry, being a service industry, we will be moving towards product and solution based, particularly on the digital technologies, AI being the forefront. So I think this tremendous. I just also did some statistics recently. By 2030, the economy driven by AI will be close to 14 to 15 billion dollars globally, and there will be about close to 125 million jobs created, right, all over the world by 2035, meaning about close to 40% of the jobs here will be impacted, not replaced, but impacted, right, by AI, because it'll be more AI enabled. So I think everybody who just kind of keeps away from, I mean, those days when we were talking about how computer is going to replace the jobs, we only enable them. So more employment created. So with that, the GDP of, I know we're talking about, our Honorable Prime Minister is talking about 5 trillion economy. 1 trillion is going to be, contributed by AI, directly or indirectly. So with that kind of a power of AI, the timing of, the book is very apt. I mean, that's where I'm coming to, though I'm just kind of coming so late, but I'm trying to create a relevance here. So I think Kerushan is, I mean, I need to really go through. I just had a very quick glimpse of it. I'm sure he's talking about entrepreneur, kind of a culture here. And creating that as a culture is very important, because I'm sure he will explain more about it. And he's the expert. But I'm really very, honored and thrilled to be here. Thank you very much, Andy, for inviting me. And having come here, I met a lot of people, all people with wisdom and knowledge, so that I can kind of follow them and learn more from them. And I'm always available for questions after all the gentlemen speak. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm really thankful to Mr. Balreddy Garu for the reason that this is one opportunity where I come and interact with all of you and come to know about the things what is happening around. The previous speaker, what he said, now I remember that my association with Hyderabad is from like 87, and I was posted here in Greyhounds in what is that? Yusuf Guda. So from Yusuf Guda, we used to come for morning, trek. So we used to start from Yusuf Guda. There was no habitation in Jubilee Hills. I think there is some Chervu here, at this side, on the road right side. No, here, this side. So we used to go cross country up to the Gandipet and all. So absolutely, there was no habitation, anything beyond Banjara Hills. And now, the Hyderabad is totally different story. So as the population has grown, as the things have, economy has grown, population has grown, the complexity of life also has gone up or moved up accordingly. Coming to the crime, the similar manner, the crime also has gone up. Not only the crime, that so many other issues which may not be strictly crime, but many complex issues have come up, and there the use of technology has to be, the tremendous. And what gentleman was telling, that Mr. Kumar, Bharani. So Mr. Bharani was telling that he has been associated with police department. He has been helping in different manner. And if I remember correctly, that Mr. Mahendra Reddy was the first commissioner of police, Cyberabad in I think 2002. 2002, where all of us got promotion as a DIG, and he was posted as the first commissioner. So they started this concept of citizen security and all those things, and from there it has moved a lot. And contribution of technology in crime control and providing safety and security to the citizen of Greater Hyderabad is praiseworthy. Now, if you see that, of course, still I consider myself quite uneducated, illiterate as far as this technology advancement, etc., is concerned. Rather, you will be surprised. Though I'm an IIT graduate, I did my BTech from IIT Kanpur, but we lost track. We got into the different job and all. Still, I remember when I joined IIT in 1978, and in the whole country at that time, there was only 2 places where we had the digital computer. That was IIT Kanpur and IS, Indian School of Science, Bangalore. No other institution has the digital computer. I still remember we had the Deccan computer. But of course, we went through that, the punching of the card and card reader, and then Correct. So we have moved from that level to, now you dictate something, and we used to write the basic programs, the basic things, begin and COBOL and all those things. uh, yeah. No. Actually, that's what I'm saying. We lost track in between, but we know we have the like if you know the alphabet, we started from A B C D, but now that the people have gone much ahead. At that time also, you remember sometime, I think. I think IT in Delhi, 84, 85, the computerization has come to railways first time. And that time everybody thought that with computerization, thousands and railway, booking clerks, they will lose their job, but it didn't happen. So I'm just trying to link what AI, if utilized properly, these benefits are taken properly, we may not have loss of the job drastically. It may be temporarily. My feeling is yes, the graph of the employment opportunity graph may come down temporarily, but it can be utilized in the different manner, and our economy and all those things can be brought to the bigger height. As far as AI is concerned, very simple things like you take the basic, like always I think, maybe because of that maths and engineering background, you take the example when we are, like I was SP Warangal for a very long period, and one of the worst time when the Naxalism at the peak. So our team used to track, rather plot on the map, so that the squad has come here last year, 13th of March. Then they moved to this place. Then is a water point. They went to that place, and then they used to predict. Now, if you feed all those things in the AI, it comes in the in a much accurate and much in a much better way. Simple. No, GPS, of course. Luckily, we had GPS also at that time also. Even we used to use the small GPS and all. But that we can very precisely, you can predict the probable place of next move and whatever. Similarly, even this we used to have for dark fortnight. Of course, these are police terminology. Dark fortnight. What the other fortnight, and then the theft will take place during this period, and the certain pattern used to drop physically. Now all these things in computer life becomes very easy. So of course I'm quoting very basic things, but by AI and with technology, we can literally control the crime. We can predict the human behavior and can. So I wish that the technology, and anyway, the use of technology, rather misuse of technology first, okay, and then use of technology in controlling the crime. Because if you now should not elaborate much. Now you say telephone tapping. Telephone tapping, if I remember correctly, maybe before the advent of this internet and all, tapping was easy and detection was easy. Now, with complex, technology, both have become difficult and complex. Means now that I don't know whether all of you must be knowing, there is something called zero touch tapping. No, zero touch tapping, one touch tapping, two touch tapping, three touch tapping. So we don't know. My phone, maybe whatever I am speaking, somebody may be listening to it by putting my mic and camera on. So whatever is happening, somebody, if want, somebody can. So as the technology advances, the life becomes more complex. Even the criminals gets more, the criminal activities becomes more complex. But yes, but that doesn't dishearten us, and then we should also use the technology to control that type of crime. So the coming days will be a great thing for this AI technology. Of course, I will be too happy to learn little more through Mr. Bal Reddy in coming days. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm very happy to be here. Thanks to the invitation of Mr. Bal Reddy Garu. I'm in a distinguished company of the HYSEA chairman, president, I think so, president, and such an experienced person from that too with the educational background of IIT Kanpur and then having the humility to say that he's not technical or yeah. So but the what you have said are really the deep insights into the practical aspects of using technology. So let's get to the topic that is of artificial intelligence. So now I would be able to say that I have been a student of AI since the days of my master's course at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore in 1986. So, so at that time, my professor, Professor V.V.S. Sharma, he had uh, come just freshly from Carnegie Mellon University. And as you know, Professor Raj Reddy, he's been there at the Carnegie Mellon University. And he said, spend time there. And he came back and then said that it's all going to be expert systems. Okay, so that was the age of the expert systems. All right, and then there they said that whatever is to be done, a doctor's work and so many other things, they made lots of expert systems, and a lot of them were being used in the business, and it was being thought that things will be going ahead with full speed with the expert systems. But what happened? The expert systems hit a huge roadblock, and they really fell flat. The problem was that if the expert system has to be built, then I can't just scoop out the brains of the expert and put it into the computer. I have to elicit that entire knowledge to be able to program it into the expert system. And as you know, the Mr. Govender would say that the highest cost which is associated with building such systems is actually the human cost of the software and the complexity and debugging of it doesn't work the way it is expected. That is the biggest problem. What was the next step of evolution? The next step of evolution was with machine learning. So in which instead of having to program the system as such, what you would do is that you would collect the real life data examples and then you would put it together in one spot and say, this is what is a concept, these are the things which is not that concept. And then I will build an algorithm which is going to take the positives and negatives and then come up with a business logic or logic, whatever, and that is then going to start working. But this was the age of pattern recognition and machine learning, which went on where I was also working on building the optical character recognition systems for Telugu language. So I have been the author of some software. It was released by CDAC in around 95 or so. But then that also had a problem. And which over the period of time, what happened was that you have big data. All the huge data centers were coming up and the huge processing power was there. So the data centers, grid computing, cloud computing, all these things, they were having huge capacities to store data and examples. And then through that, as there was a lot of computational, the concept of neural networks, which was once upon a time the very important concept of AI, which came in fashion and then by the hand of one of the proponents itself, Marvin Minsky, it was thrown back also. But then that got a new breath of life, and that is when the backpropagation algorithm was there. And through that, neural networks started coming up. And the neural networks and applied to images and all, then that came of age somewhere around 2011, 2012. Okay. And then the deep learning algorithms came, and the deep learning algorithms were performing fantastically well. The trained deep learning algorithms is what you see nowadays, where they perform at a almost near human-like perfection level. Okay, but this is for tasks which are very clearly defined and announced. Okay, but there is still a frontier where, as very nicely explained in Mr. Govindar's book, has anyone thought of what is the meaning of the title Age of Agency, he says. Okay. So when we study artificial intelligence, what we wish to create is that we wish to create an autonomous agent. The autonomous agent is supposedly to be acting of its own in a changing environment, and it is taking into account the changing environment, and then it is still supposed to be acting adaptation with the environment. Okay, so that is the idea of a agent, an autonomous agent. And in the book, what it has been explained is that there has been a huge rise of these type of autonomous agents. So that is why now we are living in the age of agency. Okay. Okay. So I think so. I got A grade in me. So that's the importance of the book. That we are living in an age where we have the agents everywhere. It is sitting in your mobile phone. You want to call a cab, the moment you open the Uber app, it is quickly pointing out where you are, and it is also giving a suggestion of where you would like to go. All right, you want to go to home or work, it shows you that suggestion. That is the work of software agents, which is called as recommender systems. So like this, everywhere, if you are watching YouTube video, the agent comes and it shows you what you want. Okay, but that is where the catch is lying. That are we becoming so much tied up with these agents, and is our life going to get totally wrapped up with these agents? Okay, so there are 3 parts to his book, and we go through the initial parts where he has explained this thing, but towards the last part of the book, he is given a lot of hope for humanity, in which he says that your humanity will prevail. Basically, if I can just say that very briefly, that technical words etc. are there, but we'll say that humanity will prevail. Okay, and the reason for that is, as I'm from the field, it is that what is the basic problem? The basic problem is that the human existence itself is extremely complicated. Okay, and the artificial intelligence is not able to cope up with that complexity to give anyone exactly what it is required. Okay, so that's why humanity is there, and long live the difference. And hopefully that is my colleague Professor Ramdas has been asking that, oh, what will happen to all the jobs? But as properly pointed out by the speakers here, there is a shift, and as we are discussing in the vehicle which is coming here, there is a level of equilibrium which is found out. However, what is happening with technology is that the equilibrium shifts. Every time a new technology comes out, there is a disruption and there is a shift. Okay, has anyone read the book Who Moved My Cheese? Okay, so that is exactly what it is. Who moved my cheese? That is, everybody is gone into a stable state, and in the rat race, they know where the cheese is, they are running there. But once you move the cheese, it's a new game. So those people who are able to understand and adapt themselves to see which is the direction of shift of the equilibrium, that is the direction in which we need to adapt, and maybe perhaps that is also giving us directions of where our businesses has to be steered toward, and many things like that. Of course, that's the expertise of the author, Mr. Govender here. Okay, so once again, I thank everyone for giving me a patient listening for this. Thank you.
And now I request Dr. Father Joji Reddy, Loyola Academy Principal, Secunderabad. You know Loyola's, right? Loyola is a global brand name. So he is a highly intelligent person. So I requested him, and please say a few words. Thank you.
Illustrious chief guest, uh, Thakur Garu, former DGP and I.P.S, and learned member Bharani Garu, Hyderabad Association of IT, Professor Atul Garu, Dean of Hyderabad Central University, and man of the author, Govender Garu, and my dearest friend, of course, very close to me, Balreddy Garu, and dear media, electronic and press media, and dear friends, very good afternoon to every one of you. I am looking from a different perspective of this, the conference, where Professor Atul has ended. From there, I catch up and speak a few things. This age is the age of disruptive technologies, and we need to accept it. And that's why AI, machine learning, and deep learning are at the forefront. And this is our problem. This is the humanity problem. But what about them who created us? What about them who created us? It seems the creator was very sad one day. The creator of the whole universe was very sad. And one of the associates went and asked him why he was so sad. Then the creator seemed to have said it's because of these human beings whom I created. Hare, you love them so much, and it is you who have created them, and why should you be so sad? Then he seemed to have said, you do not know, they are trying to rob, or they are trying to steal the life principle that I have. Then the one who is with him, who is asking questions, seemed to have said, why don't you go and hide that life principle in abyss, in the oceans? Then the creator seemed to have said, yes, I tried to hide the principle in the abyss, but these fellows are penetrating into the seas with their latest technologies, that is submarines. Then he seemed to have said, why don't you go and hide it in Akasha, that is in the skies? And you fellow, you do not know, they are also soaring into the skies with their rockets and all these things. Then he seemed to have given another suggestion. Why don't you go and hide it in the brain of the human being? That's what the problem. And I hid it in the brain of the human being, and this fellow is coming out with AI technology. And so this is what is happening. Even gods are worried. Even gods are worried who created us. But it's a beautiful technology that is coming out. Of course, it has a slow growth. As Bharani Garu explained, yes, it is creating a lot of revenue to the world. And already, if I am correct, 250 billion worth of AI is happening. And I suppose I'm yes, total IT service. And so much is happening, and so much growth is there. And as we talk about disruptive technologies, it's going to be a constructive technology while disrupting the old technologies. And students are very fond of AI. We have around in Loyola, we have around 2,000 students who are pursuing their computer science courses. We have all fields of the courses. They are very fond of AI, and they are very smart. And nothing like in seconds they pick up whatever you teach them. And and it's growing so fast. And we need to catch up to that. And it's very difficult for us to catch up to that technology. And what are all going behind? Already Thakur Garu has explained so many things. Because we do not know what is happening behind and what is going to happen in front of us. But something is going to happen, and the change is there. And the change is there, as Atul Garu has explained. The change which we see very vividly. We are seeing the change, but only thing is we don't understand how the change is coming. We only came to know when robots are created. If you ask for a cup of coffee, it used to bring a cup of coffee. Now the technology it's mimicking our own brain. We know very well Elon Musk, the business tycoon of USA, and they created a chip and introduced the chip in the brain of a human being, and it is mimicking it. And much more than that, we the biotechnologists, We are going to use AI in the medical field, and particularly we are going to create the nano machines with the help of AI, which can travel like boats or like submarines in our blood circulating system. And even in order to take the load of medicine, to the site where let us say where the cancer is happening. So site-directed medicine we call it, goes and deposits the medicine there. So such a technology is going to come up, which is very difficult for us the present age to understand. But at the same time, this is happening. It's going to have a drastic change, and as one of the sirs mentioned, it's going to be a tectonic shift. So the earth has tectonic shifts, and when the tectonic shifts happen, a lot of mountains and everything will be created. And such a tectonic shift is happening. And I congratulate Govardhan Garu for coming out with this book. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a copy before that, but still I know what is there inside. And and more of you, Atul Garu was mentioning that you also concentrated about the human concerns as such. Very good. I appreciate you. And you need to come out with many more books so that you can be an inspiration to many, because we shouldn't stop writing. No, with the upcoming of AI and all these things, students stop learning alphabets now. But we shouldn't stop until we are here, the habit of reading and writing. So once again, my best wishes to you and to your companies. Wish you all the best. Thanks for calling me. God bless you.
Now I request Kerushan Govender to say a few words about his book. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With such an esteemed panel, I know what it's like now, what it must feel like to bat after Tendulkar. Firstly, I want to start by sharing a sincere thank you to Mr. Bala Reddy. An event like this would never have been possible without you. I'm very grateful for the fact that our paths crossed back in 2009 under very different circumstances. And like I said to you back then, I learned a lot from you, and I continue to learn from you. And thank you for your kindness, for your warmth, for your generosity, bringing me to India and giving me this level of exposure. I really appreciate it. It's an absolute honor to share a panel with such esteemed personalities. I would never have imagined this, so I think I'm overwhelmed at this stage with gratitude and with just a genuine sense of appreciation for you guys being here and saying a few words. It really does mean a lot. I'll give you just a few personal words as to why this is so meaningful for me personally. I'm of Indian origin. I'm not sure whether you can tell. I'm of Indian origin, and I'm not sure whether everyone knows this, but Indian people left to go to South Africa in 1860. All right, so my ancestry back to India goes back to 1860, when a whole bunch of people left here and went and set up shop for the first time in South Africa. And bear in mind that we emerged from very humble beginnings, right? If you look at how Indian people showed up, and we were working, our forefathers were working the plantations, and eventually we, like Indian people have demonstrated all around the world, there's been a great amount of tenacity, persistence, resilience, a deep commitment to education, and a deep commitment to family success. And through those basic principles, Indian people have risen up the social ladder very admirably back in South Africa. And it's fortuitous for me to be here, because I never planned on a book launch in India. But if there's any country that I would have loved to have had a book launch, it would certainly be in India, where we have a very close, back in South Africa, we have a very close association back to India. We still refer to ourselves as Indians, right? We never speak of ourselves in another way. So there's a very, very deep commitment back to our country of origin, and more particularly, I'm South Indian, so there's a deeper connection to South India, right? So that's just one reason why this is as special as it is. The other reason, and this is really why I wanted to make this announcement here today, I don't think that India fully understands what it's about to experience with the rapid rise of AI. AI has been around for a long time. As Prof. Atul articulated far better than I can, he gave a great story about the growth and development of AI. I hope you were paying attention. There's going to be a quick quiz afterwards. and you will receive a certificate of completion. India is about to experience something mammoth, and India is poised to be the world leader of this next evolution of change far beyond any other nation on the planet, primarily because of the preparation that India has already undergone by being at the forefront of technology innovation, specifically software innovation, and the associated services practices that live around any software-oriented ecosystem. And India really has legitimately staked a massive claim to that territory on a global scale. I mean, I'm not just making a light commentary here based on the fact that the top leaders of the world's largest software companies are of Indian origin. This is not a light commentary of that. This is, if you look at economically and structurally how India is currently composed from a GDP point of view, India is very well poised to take advantage of this next wave of growth. In terms of job losses, we don't have a fear at all. Let me just tell you, if you have a worry about that, put it aside. That's not today's problem, and I'll tell you why. You're not going to have unmonitored AI growth anytime soon. Anything that happens with AI over the next 5-10 years is going to be deeply monitored, and it has to be. We just don't have the level of cognitive capability within AI to do anything independently, fully independently for the minute. What we really need to look at is the manufacturing of AI solutions. We're going to be making more and more and more AI-based solutions. Even Mr. Bala Reddy just mentioned that Cura will be incorporating AI-based engines imminently within the development roadmap. And what is that going to require? That's going to require someone to build it, right? Who's going to be building these AI-based systems? Your kettle. Very soon your kettle is going to be somehow AI run and AI enabled. Most devices, most applications are going to be AI enabled. Who's going to build that? It's going to have to be built somewhere. And India is really at the forefront of the capability and the technology to really crack the code in volume. And like I said, a lot of our AI advancements cannot possibly be unmonitored. So again, India would have to be really the custodian of the next wave of software development and technology progression. And I say technology progression because we're moving into the realm of hardware as well. It's not just about software. And India is really at the forefront of taking us into that next era, the age of agency, purely because of the existing talent that it possesses that's very AI ready right now. And AI ready, you see what I did there, Mr. Reddy? These are just my South African jokes. So on that note, let me segue a little bit. I just want to say one or two things to give everyone a sense of certainty of where AI stands right now. I want you to consider that as much as AI has advanced, it's deeply limited from a pure cognitive standpoint. In fact, if you're to make AI into a human right now, and this plays into your point, it would be a deeply, deeply dysfunctional and limited human being. That's the truth of it. And here's something that we have to always have at the back of our minds. If you go right now onto the streets, and if you choose any human that you want, just go ahead and pick out a human being. That human being is going to be 1,000,000 times more intelligent than any AI that exists today in terms of its ability to exercise correct perception, observation, resourcewulness, the ability to compute creatively. All of these faculties are entirely absent from the realm of computing, anywhere near the level of where a human being is. So let's not underestimate our order of importances. As we make our plans for our businesses, etc., we must still lead with people, and we must still ensure that our strategies reflect that the correct bet is being placed from a people versus computing power perspective. We cannot bet on computing power over human beings, and those leaders around the world who are doing that, and there's only a handful of them that are taking these big bets with computing power over humanity, and they're making, certainly in the immediate term, several losses as a result. So I think we can, it's fairly safe to say that we've got a long future for humanity to lead the journey into the field of artificial intelligence and beyond, and we have no fears, certainly not in the immediate term. And I think that the last point, the closing point, is that there's one thing that human beings can still do, I'm not talking about the faculties. I'm not talking about observation, creativity, understanding, care, resourcefulness. I'm not talking about any of those points which are all unpacked in the book. I'm talking about one primary ability that human beings have that AI couldn't possibly produce. Can anyone guess what that might be? There's just one fundamental difference between what we are capable of and what AI could ever do into the future of humanity. I mean, I'm sure you guys heard of the term AGI, artificial general intelligence. There's a lot of that term being used right now where we're being told that AGI is going to supersede the intellect of humanity. It might become better than human beings at going through mounds and mounds and mounds of data. It might be better than humanity when it comes to consuming numbers and crunching numbers and processing and analyzing data, over a 15-year period without a break. That for sure it could do. But there's one thing that AI couldn't possibly do better than mankind. Is there anyone who would like to hazard a guess? There's the emotional factor. Absolutely, and that's that plays into that element of care, human understanding. All of these things are entirely absent. I mean, let's be honest. AI can't feel a thing. No matter how much it can write copy that gives the idea that it can feel things, it can't feel anything. Okay. Anyone else wants to hazard a guess? Creation, right? It cannot create. Right. Absolutely. And I love that. I love that you said creation, because here's the thing: what has to occur just before creation occurs? You have to be able to conceive of a goal, a dream, an ambition, some kind of future. Before the creation occurs, there has to be a picture of what we want to create, right? And that's the fundamental difference between humanity and anything a computer can do. Because here's the difference. Humanity can still conceive of a goal that's 100% independent of its past. You take a child today, no matter the circumstances that that child was born into, that child can still conceive a future for itself that is independent of its past and circumstance. That's the power of humanity. It can dream a future that has nothing to do with the past. That's why someone can rise from poverty and still become a huge success, because a human being is not tied to its past. Whereas any AI algorithm is heavily dependent, and in fact 100% dependent on the data that it is fed. So despite the fact that we're running complex algorithms, and I think Prof. Atul covered some of them, the neural networks, these are all algorithms that are taking place over existing data sets. But all of those data sets are training the AI to be able to figure out the future. So the AI is having to run all of these algorithms in order to determine what's going to happen next. So even a prediction technology, like the prediction technology that you mentioned, Shri Thakur, you mentioned about being able to figure something out quicker than a human being, and that's 100% correct. That's a great application of AI, but that depends on all the data that was fed. But a human being can conceive of something brand new, independent of any data. And in fact, some of the best decisions that come from mankind are independent of historical data sets. It depends entirely on want and desire and the future, and that goes to the emotional point. Because the thing that drives someone towards a goal that has nothing to do with the past is what the person wants to do. And I think that that's a fundamental point that we must never let go of as a humanity, as a bunch of leaders, as people who are, especially in India, the custodians of the next wave of growth for mankind from a technology point of view. We must never lose sight of the fact that that's what we bring to the table. And it's not something that can ever be taken away from any of us. So that was just the message I wanted to land. I thank you all personally for being here and celebrating this very special moment. And at that point, I will hand over back to Mr. Balareddy.
Yeah, officially, hold the book and officially launch the
My name is Kerushan Govender. and I have authored the book Age of Agency: Rise with AI. I'm very proud to launch the book here in India, and in particular, I think that India stands to gain a lot from the power of artificial intelligence over the next 3 to 5 years. There's an imminent opportunity for massive expansion of this particular branch and brand of technology, and India is at the forefront of leading the worldwide path towards the age of agency. So it's a huge honor to deliver this message in person here in India. Well, to get the book prepared, it took about 2 years, but towards the end of those 2 years, I started focusing a little bit more on artificial intelligence. So I changed my focus a little bit from general software towards artificial intelligence.
You did complete manually.
Yes.
No AI tools for it.
I used a manual editor initially, and my editor was giving me a very hard time. Eventually, I did get the help of AI on editing.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Balareddy, Cura Software Global Company Chairman and Managing Director. Cura Software is into governance, risk and compliance software product. ఈ కంపెనీ మేము 2009లో 100 crores క్యాష్ పెట్టుకున్నాము. కొన్న తర్వాత బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ డెవలప్మెంట్ అంతా ఇండియాకి షిఫ్ట్ చేశాము. ఇప్పుడు బుక్ రాసిన కెరూజన్ అని ఆయన ఇంతకుముందు 2009లో నేను కొన్నప్పుడు మా దగ్గర కంపెనీ ఎంప్లాయీ. సో హీ హెస్ గ్రోన్ సో బిగ్ అండ్ హీ హెస్ రిటర్న్ ఏ ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ మీద బుక్ రాశారు. నా కంపెనీ స్ట్రాటజీ సెషన్స్ జరుగుతూ ఉన్నాయి ఇండియాలో నిన్న, ఈరోజు, రేపు. ఈ ప్రాసెస్లో ఆయన కూడా వచ్చారు. ఇండియాలో నేను బుక్ రిలీజ్ చేయాలా అనే ఉద్దేశంతో ఆయన previous generations were from Indian origins. So he wanted to have a passionate to release his book in India. So that's where Cura Software strategy session lo we have taken an opportunity to release the Age of Agency Artificial Intelligence book written by Kerushan, the Black Fox CEO, based out of Cape Town, South Africa. So we wish him all the best. And our company is also into artificial intelligence, where we are developing risk management software, risk of any kind of insurance, banking, manufacturing, to all kinds of agnostic of any industry. Thank you.